Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Am I audible now?
Ma'am.
Good
Yeah.
morning, ma'am.
Can you see
Good
the
morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
recording has been started? Because yes. Okay, it has started. All right. Good morning, everyone. So many of you still have not received the password, right? I think 3, 4 are there. It will take another 2 days. I had discussed with department. So please bear till Wednesday. Okay. Otherwise, you can join who doesn't have your Microsoft ID, Microsoft Teams ID and password. They can easily join through the link. I think every teacher is sending you the link, right? Before class. सारे classes का तो भेज रहे हैं sir. Yes, Shelly.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, you are getting all the links, na? Links of
Yes,
class.
ma'am. On the group.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
It is not for everyone. It is just for convenience of you. For those who are not having Microsoft Teams credential, and maybe for some technical glitch, your classes are not showing in your app. Okay, so now you have the updated calendar, updated timetable. Refer to your timetable. Timetable को ना कहीं पे सेव करके रख दो. In fact, for your convenience, what I have done, I have Harsh Pandit. Okay. So for your convenience, what I have done, I have kept the timetable of BBA 1B as your WhatsApp group icon. So अगर timetable भूल गए हो, right? You are not able to remember what the class you are having next day, right? Maybe 9 बजे कौन सा class है, 10 बजे कौन सा class है. You can easily refer to your timetable. That is your group icon. Then check whether you are able to see the class in your Microsoft Teams calendar or not. If not, ask for the Teams, ask for the class link, right? अगर teacher ने नहीं भेजा हुआ है. Otherwise, if it is showing in your calendar, it's well and good. Okay, so in our last class, we were discussing about how in business decision making, economics plays an important role, right? So this question I ask almost to every students. Okay, have you ever thought that why sometime when we are talking about our country India, we sometimes refer it as nation, sometime as country, or sometime as economy? Do anyone know? Yes, because many of time we discuss that for the growth and development of our economy. What's economy? And sometimes we say that the our country's safety and our country's security, right? We discuss this like as country, and sometimes we also term India as sometimes as nation or state. Anyone, please, let's have a brainstorming session. Interaction करोगे तभी नींद भी खुल जाएगी. Those who have not even taken breakfast till now. Yes, anyone? Harsh Pathak? Yes, Harsh. Look, I need reply from student, and I am making sure आप लोगों का कैमरा भी ऑन होना चाहिए.
Ma'am, what is the question?
Yes, Nisha. The question is why sometime we consider our country, or not our country, every country, sometime as economy, sometime as country, and sometime as nation or state. Do you know what's the basic difference about all this?
Ma'am, we refer it to as economy
Hmm.
when we're dealing when we're talking in terms in economics. Like an economy is a place where production, distribution, and selling of goods and services take place.
Okay, great, great. So, Google etc. नहीं है ना? All right, fine.
No,
So,
ma'am.
okay, then white state, sometimes we also call it as state and nation. When it's nation and state, you must be also knowing about this. Okay, for everyone's knowledge, मैं लेमन में ही बोल रही हूँ, लेमन लैंग्वेज में ही बोल रही हूँ. So when we term as country, we are discussing, we are describing India or any country through its territorial boundary, right, or the geographical boundary. So where we are talking about India as India, right? India as a country. So we are talking about the physical boundary or the geographical boundary of our country, right? When we term India as a nation or a state, we are talking about the political jurisdiction, right? So when we say that, many of the time you will discuss that in especially in law subjects, or maybe in various law acts and section, you will see that there is not mention of country or economy. You will always find it state, right? In state of India, right, or in nation. India is a nation. So when we consider as nation, we mainly talking about the political autonomy and the political jurisdiction. And when we consider India or any country as economy, we refer as an economy, we are talking about the country as a business organization, right? So what the functions of a business organization, what does it do, what are the typical functions of a business organization? That is production. Then it also depends upon the consumption, कि उनका जो products and services है, whether it is consumed by the customer and consumer or not, and the distribution. So consumption, production and distribution, yeah, हमने पढ़ा है. So consumption, production and distribution जो है, right? So this is a part of economy, right? That means economic process. So what is economic process? हमने first slide में ही पढ़ा था. Production, distribution and consumption of goods and services. So when we discuss that economic process, so we are talking about the uh, what is our revenue, or क्या income क्या है, क्या expenditure क्या है, right? So production and distribution will takes into consideration the cost part, right? कि कितना cost हुआ है, कितना खर्चा हुआ है in during the production, during the distribution, right? And while we are talking about consumption, we the producer are earning money by selling the final product or goods and services, right? So in fact, I don't know whether you remember some of the guest lecture during your orientation program. Orientation program mein there was a guest session on importance of numbers in management, right? If anyone remembers. So वहाँ पे discuss किया गया था guest lecture जो थे. So the guest speaker discussed that there are top line and bottom line. Top line of any company or top line management discuss about the sales revenue, right, and profit. That means production, right? Production होने के बाद you will sell. So while selling, you will earn revenue, sales revenue and profit, right? When profit, how you can analyze? Sales revenue minus total cost of production. And the bottom line उन्होंने discuss किया था. So bottom line was, actually I was submitting the report, then I remembered, that's why. Bottom line में क्या है? जो net income है, that is consider your all expenses. You need to subtract all your expenses. That means for an similarly हमारा जो इंडिया के बारे में हम डिस्कस करते हैं, right? India as an economy. Here we are also considering these all these terms, like what is the total production, what is the total consumption, right? What's the total distribution, why it is required, why this economic reference is required for a country, right? Because uh, the important factors for any country, like the health of the people, employment, whether people in the country are having enough resources or enough employment or enough facility. So all this welfare of a nation or welfare of the people all will depend upon the economic features, right? Or economic function, that is consumption, distribution and production, consumption and distribution, right? So the main idea behind me क्यों मैं ये discuss कर रही हूँ कि like in our future classes also many times we will refer as economy. So you should know that why it is called economy sometime, India, why it is considered as economy sometime, and why we call it as a country or a nation. So understood the basic difference? Please, either you can ask me or even आजकल तो ऐसा है कि Google is the best teacher, right? So whenever you term anything, हमेशा there should be a question mark in your head, right? I'm not talking about economics or any subject. Life में कुछ भी हो, there should be a question mark, right? Q, where you will have a Q, you will find an answer. Either you can ask the teachers, if teachers से आपको satisfactory answer नहीं मिलता है, you can definitely refer to Google, right? Or maybe Google में आपको पढ़ के समझ नहीं आ रहा है, you can ask your teachers or your parents or anyone. So dear, please keep your question mark alive all the time. So only then you will able to learn and enjoy your learning. So okay, we were discussing about nature and scope of business economics, right? So as I introduced, what is like, I always feel that you should have a question mark. So many times now you will definitely have MCQ questions exam, but जैसे पहले हमारा बहुत बार एग्जाम्स में आते हैं कि सारे सब्जेक्ट में, right? What are the nature of economics or what are the characteristic of business economics? Some people also write the importance. If we are asking about nature, we are where you are talking about importance, right? So here you should know the difference between what is nature and what is scope or importance. कल हमने discuss किया था nature is like what is your nature, what are your traits or characteristic, right? When we are talking about scope, how you can be utilized somewhere else, that means your importance, right? So nature and scope are different. So here, yes, we are discussing economics from both perspective, right? Nature also and how it is used also, right? How economics or business economics is used for various other functions, right? That is your scope. So the first nature of business economics is its subject matter. So uh, we had discussed that various economists, right, in various era, like Adam Smith ने बोला था, economics is the study of wealth of nation. Then comes Karl Marx, where they were discussing economy as that it is the state, right? So state takes control over all the resources of the economy, right? That means people of that nation. Then comes the modern period where Lionel Robbins, Samuelson, they have discussed that no, economic is the study of human behavior, right? What's human behavior? That human wants are unlimited, right? And to fulfill that want, right, their resources are limited. Okay, first is human wants are, it's a human behavior, right? So human wants are unlimited. ये चाहिए वो चाहिए, right? The wants are, we, if you introspect with our own life, our wants, can it there be a full stop कि आज के बाद I don't need anyone, right? It cannot happen. We need something or the other. आज मैं फोन खरीद ली, still I need a new phone, right? After some time, or maybe I always have one, यार काश मेरे पास iPhone होता, right? So human wants are unlimited. Wants is not necessarily that what we have or why we can buy, right? It can be what we want, क्या चाहिए. चाहना और खरीदना is not same. We will discuss in demand. So what's the difference between चाहना and खरीदना? So खरीदने के लिए आपके पास पैसे चाहिए, right? But चाहने के लिए you don't need money. I can have, right? I want a iPhone or I want a Mercedes car. But can I actually buy a Mercedes car? That's a different thing, right? So it's human behavior. Human wants are unlimited, right? Yeah, wants are changing and wants are piling up. Okay, इसके बाद ये चाहिए, इसके बाद ये चाहिए, right? So the resources to fulfill these wants are limited. We are here talking about the resources available, so they are अब शिवम कवत्रा why he is just a minute. Shivam, yeah, I am talking to Shivam Kawatra. Shivam Kawatra, are you here? Reply नहीं करोगे then I am removing you. Yes, Shivam. Shivam Kawatra, please reply. एक तो इतना लेट ज्वाइन कर रहे हो, right? And that too through guest ID. You already have your ID and password.
I'm sorry मैम, वो ना अभी कनेक्ट नहीं हो रहा था मेरे उससे.
ओके ओके 5 मिनट पहले ही, जैसे मैं भी क्या करती हूँ कि इफ आई हैव क्लास एट 9 AM, मैं अपना ब्रेकफास्ट कर करके ही 5 मिनट पहले ही आई हैव स्टार्टेड, राइट? एंड स्पेशली फॉर स्टूडेंट यू शुड डू इट. 5-10 मिनट पहले आप ऑन करके रख दो, भले ही आप ब्रेकफास्ट पास में रख के ब्रेकफास्ट करते रहो, राइट? एंड आफ्टर योर क्लास स्टार्टेड यू स्टॉप इट and join by
Okay,
9:95, not after 9:05. Okay. Okay.
okay ma'am.
So subject matter of economics. We are discussing about subject matter of economics. So as I say that human wants are unlimited, right? As discussed by Lionel Robbins. So these resources, right, to fulfill these wants are limited, right? And this that's limited resources or these scarce resources have uh, alternative uses. Like I discussed one day that, for example, petroleum, right? Petroleum is a resource. While I want a car, I had a car, right? So while driving my car, I need petroleum or maybe CNG, right? So this CNG can be used in some other factors also, right? Maybe I am using diesel while driving my car, right? This diesel has alternative uses. It is used in industrial production. It is used in your generator, right? Or it is also used in some other works, right? So where it need to be utilized, so it will depend upon its price, right? So more and more alternative uses will be there for a particular resource, particular scarce resource or limited resource, right? So like we can see now the price of petroleum has been rising and rising, right? Because it's a limited resource, right? And that's why, and it has too many alternative uses, right? That's why the demand is increasing and also price is also increasing, right? So the subject matter of economics, when we say that it's about understanding and understanding the human behavior, right? And when we deeply try to study this human behavior, right, what is their want, how to satisfy their wants, this how to satisfy their wants हम लोग जब जाएंगे, okay, how to satisfy with some resources, and these resources are limited, right? They cannot be like कि आप मांगो और मिल जाए. अगर मांगो मिल जाए फ्री का होता तो फिर उसका कोई प्राइस नहीं होती, because it is limited, right? That's why you need to buy from someone, right? Because you are going to buy from someone, right? It is having some price. Then comes the study of price, then comes the study of production, right? Some of the producer is distributing these resources to you, and why he will distribute in free of cost, that's come your price, right? Like even back in my home, and even in like uh, water, water is a free resource, right? So but is nowadays water is free resource? No, you cannot have water also for free of cost. अगर गवर्नमेंट का अगर वाटर सप्लाई है वहां से लेना इज डिफरेंट थिंग, बट even if you are in a society, staying in a society, you cannot just install a boring well without permission from Delhi government, because water is a resource owned by the government of Delhi, right? And क्या हम 10 साल पहले या 10 साल some 50 years back have ever anyone imagine कि पानी का भी प्राइस लग जाएगा, पानी में भी रोक टोक होगी, right? But अब हो रही है. Just few days back I was reading in a newspaper that in a society in Dwarka, so where in that society they were installing, the society management were installing a boring well in the society for the water extraction, and there is a legal notice to them. Why? So Delhi Jal Board and Delhi government has issued that notice that you cannot extract water without permission, because it is the resource of government resource and you need to pay a price, right? So look, so that means when the resource is limited, there comes the price. गाँव में देखो, in back in my home also in Assam, पानी is free. It's different thing कि अगर हम water supply government का ले रहे हैं, otherwise we can install hand pump or a well or a boring well everywhere. So when the resource will become limited, right, it will have some price. So here comes the theory of price, right, theory of distribution. So in sum, the subject matter of economics, as you can see in the slide, so it now we include the price theory, right? So how we are going to determine the price, how we are going to determine the profit, right? How we are going to determine the loss, right? And the subject matter of this price theory is microeconomics, right? We will study in our later units that how this price is determined by interaction of demand and supply, right? So how this price is determined, how profit is determined, right? How loss is determined. So we will study these factors in microeconomics, and we discuss about the whole economy. We are talking about macroeconomics. So that means subject matter of economics we here. So when we are studying economics as a subject matter, right, the subject matter diverges into two parts, microeconomics and macroeconomics, right? So when we are talking about microeconomy, micro and macro, माइक्रो क्या होता है? छोटा. मैक्रो क्या है? बड़ा, राइट? यही होता है जो आपकी डेफिनेशन है और मीनिंग अकॉर्डिंग टू द डिक्शनरी. सो माइक्रो मीन्स स्मॉल, मैक्रो मीन्स लार्ज, राइट? सो when we are discussing microeconomics, so we are discussing वही same process है, production, distribution, consumption. So we are discussing all the economic factors or economic functions in a micro level. That means from an individual perspective, maybe if I am discussing कि Rupam, what Rupam earns, मेरा क्या income है, how much I spend, रूपम का क्या expenditure है, how much buys, क्या मैं खरीदती हूँ, at what price, right? If I am discussing about economic factor from an individual perspective of an individual, that means it's a micro, right? Microeconomics. Similarly, if we are discussing the economic functions of a producer, of a business owner or a seller, right? We are discussing about माइक्रो पर्सपेक्टिव. दैट मीन्स इंडिविजुअल, अगर हम एक इंडिविजुअल पर्सन और इंडिविजुअल फैक्टर को अगर स्टडी करते हैं, दैट मीन्स वी आर स्टडिंग इन ए स्मॉलर लेवल, राइट? एंड व्हेन वी आर डिस्कसिंग all the seller together, all the rupams together, all the people together, right? That means we are discussing at an aggregate level, all together. So when we are discussing about our country's economy, right? So we are discussing about all the people staying there, all the sellers staying there, right? All the producer, all the consumer. So at all together, when we are discussing, then we are discussing macroeconomics, right? Microeconomics and macroeconomics. So here economics may be described as a study of economic system under which men live and work, right? So economic system are different types, like हमने discuss किया है. I suppose there is capitalist economy, there is socialist economy, and there is mixed economy. So in all this economy, right, how people are earning their money, right, by working somewhere, right, because I am an economic factor. How I earn? Because I am employed somewhere. I am getting paid by my employer for my service rendered, right? Similarly, a producer or a seller, how he is earning profit, right? हमने discuss किया था 4 factors of production, if you remember, right? First is land, labor, capital, and entrepreneur or organization, right? For land, one who provide land, right, as an economic factor, then he or she earns, or the landowner or the factor owner earns rent. Then there is labor, who can work, right? So for rendering my labor or my work, right, the laborer or the worker earns wage or salary, right? So for this economic factor, the factor owner, the factor income. So factor income is क्या है? Factor क्या है? Labor. Income क्या है? Wage. Wage हम बोलते हैं economics में, otherwise it is salary, right? So wage is the income of the factor labor, right? Similarly, the factor income of land, the landowner will get the factor income rent. And similarly, the investor who put money on a business, right, that is capital, right? Or if I'm putting money, maybe directly or indirectly, so the factor owner or the people who have invested, so against the factor of capital, the factor owner will get factor income of interest, right? Similarly, the business owner or the entrepreneur or the organizer or organization, he will earn the profit as a factor income because he has organized, he has managed everything, and he has taken the risk. And for taking this risk of uncertainty of profit and loss, he earns profit, right? By paying everyone, right? Paying all the other factors of production, whatever is remained, right? It is profit for him. So understood. So here in an economy, there are different factors of production, right? When we are studying each of the factors of production individually, right, then we are discussing microeconomics, and we are discussing all the factors of production as a whole in an aggregate level, then we are discussing macroeconomics. So microeconomics के अंदर क्या है? Demand and supply between individual. Individual mean customer and producer, right? Supplier and distributor. So if we are studying each and individual factors, producer, customer, supplier, distributor, then we are studying microeconomics, the relationship between them, demand and supply, right? So here economics is the relationship, studying of relationship between different individual, right? So then macroeconomics क्या है? Total economic environment, when we are talking about all the people, all the individual as a whole, right? Then we are discussing macroeconomics. So studies related to local, national, regional, and global economies, even international economies, the relationship, business relation between different economies also considers under macroeconomics. So microeconomics theory like commodity pricing, that means एक product और service का क्या price होगा, right? How a producer, how a seller will determine the price of a product, right? So it is determined by demand and supply. How much is the demand by the consumer in that economy, and how much the cost of production, right? And how they can meet the meet the demand, right? So accordingly, demand and supply will determine the price, right? The interaction of demand and supply, जहाँ पे equal होगी, the price will be determined in that point. So then factor pricing, like I discussed that there are 4 factors, right? Land, labor, capital, organization. So how these 4 factors of production price is determined. जैसे एक प्रोडक्ट का प्राइस भी हम डिटरमाइन करते हैं, कोई भी प्रोडक्ट और सर्विसेज का कुछ प्राइस है, राइट? दैट मीन्स प्राइस हम बोलते हैं सेल्स प्राइस, कॉस्ट प्राइस, सो एक प्राइस होती है प्रोडक्ट का, राइट? बट आपके जो फैक्टर्स है, आप फ्री में तो नहीं दे रहे हो ना, सो जो फैक्टर्स ऑफ प्रोडक्शन है उसका भी कुछ प्राइस है. सो हाउ दिस प्राइस ऑफ दिस फैक्टर इज डिटरमाइंड, लाइक रेंट फॉर लैंड, wages for labor, interest for capital, and profit for entrepreneur, right? So it is also studied in microeconomic theory. Then theory of economic welfare, right? So economic welfare, how? This is discussed by Samuelson that in an economy, right? So okay, the economic matter is macroeconomic, but it is subject matter of the producer कि क्या प्रोड्यूस करना है, what to produce, right? How to produce, when to produce, and for whom to produce. So this decision, right, this business decision making is under the jurisdiction of microeconomic. So microeconomic theory studies what to produce, right, how to produce, for whom to produce, and when to produce. So individual producer will produce, right? So that's why we are talking about this production process, or the what to produce, how to produce, right? Because it's a individual, we are talking about individual producer or individual customer. Then macroeconomic theory. So when we are discussing about national income, the income of all the people staying there together. So when we are discussing national income, we are not talking about an individual producer. We are talking about all the producer, all the consumer, all together. So theory of national income, theory of employment, right, is under macroeconomic theory. And under theory of income, we will study here Keynes theory of income, then Keynes theory of employment, then there is theory of consumption, right? How consumption theory, right? Autonomous consumption, induced consumption, we'll study here. Then theory of investment, so how investment lead to your interest, right? Then theory of fluctuation of for business, right? So जैसे हमने फर्स्ट क्लास में डिस्कस किया था रिसेशन, ग्रेट डिप्रेशन ऑफ यूएसए इन 1930, right? So how this recession or inflation can be studied, right? So here there is a business cycle. So business cycle studies business cycle for science student or humanity student who doesn't know what is business cycle. In short में बोल रही हूँ. So like an economy, right? Economy's nature or economy's position is not always same, right? Maybe in some, जैसे एक business का भी एक life cycle होता है. Even in a business, there will be profit sometime, there will be loss sometime, right? There will be break even sometime, that means no profit, no loss, right? Similarly, in an economy also, because here when we say that economy, we are discussing about a country as a business counterpart, right? So for an economy also, it is not always possible that it will be always a profitable business. Sometimes there will be profit, sometimes there will be loss, right? So here we will not say profit loss, but here we will discuss that national income या फिर आपकी जो balance of payment, right? So whether balance of payment is negative or positive, so we will discuss about that. So it is the part of our macroeconomic theory, theory of business cycle, whether the economy is in boom or depression or in inflation, right? So then comes the theory of general price level, right? Here we will discuss money supply and demand for money. So money supply mean money supply, who supply money, right? So now like we know that central bank of any country supplies, has the authority to supply money, right? Supply currency. RBI के पास वो है. So can RBI supply money like that? No, right? So why they don't do? अगर हमारे कंट्री में गरीबी है, क्यों आरबीआई ज्यादा से ज्यादा करेंसी प्रिंट करके डिस्ट्रीब्यूट करते, सब अमीर हो जाएंगे? सो इट कैन नॉट बी डन, because if supply of money increases, inflation will increase. That means the price of goods and services will increase, the value of money will decrease, right? So it will lead to inflation. So we will discuss more into deep into all this in our macroeconomic theory, that is in the second semester. So डिस्कस, कोई भी एक टर्म्स निकलता है तो डिस्कस करने का मन करता है, बट वी डोंट हैव टाइम बिकॉज वी हैव टू complete our syllabus. So for now you should just know what are the subject matter of microeconomics and macroeconomics, right? So if corona goes by your final exam, maybe your final exam will be explanatory exam, so you have to write all this answer then. So what's the subject matter of economics? The economic theory of economic growth, right? How we discuss economic growth. So like initially it was always about national income. If the national income of a nation or an economy is good, so we can say that there is a growth in the economy. But Amartya Sen, Dr. Amartya Sen, according to him, so in fact it's been established now that he discussed that only national income or the GDP cannot determine the growth of an economy. There are several other factors like Human Development Index. He has termed a new terminology called Human Development Index. So that means growth of a country doesn't only depend on the national income or GDP, but some other factors like employment, like per capita income, like education, like medical facility. So when we are discussing about all these terms to determine the human development index, only then growth of that economy can be determined. So then there are other theories like open economy, macro balance of payment, foreign exchange rate, right? So when we are doing any import and export or international trade, right? So when we are earning foreign exchange, right? That means जब हम export करते हैं, export का मतलब क्या है? When we are selling products produced in India to other country, export, right? Then when we are selling our product to some other country outside our country, then we are earning the जो हमने सेल्स है, सेल्स का प्राइस हमें कैसे मिलेगा? रेवेन्यू. The revenue will be earned in foreign exchange, right? That means if इंडिया का कोई कारपेट हो गया, हैंडलूम हो गया, राइट, वी आर सेलिंग इट टू यूएसए, वी विल अर्न द मनी और रेवेन्यू इन डॉलर. If we are selling it to Dubai or UAE, so we will get the foreign currency in dirham, right? If we are selling it to Japan, then we will get the foreign currency revenue as UN, right? So that means when we are doing selling our products to outside India or outside country, right, that is international trade, so that is called export. So export will lead to foreign exchange, right? And similarly when we are importing, that means buying products from outside the country, right, that is not manufactured in India, then we have to import from other country, right? So then we have to pay in that foreign exchange. So many times you can see that the goods and services which are not produced in India and these are imported, right, that will always have a higher price because uh, for example, you are buying an iPhone, right? So iPhone is not manufactured in India and you are importing the phone from USA. मे बी जो यहाँ पे डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर है आईफोन का, दे आर importing that, right? Or many of the time other imported product that are imported from other countries by the distributor. So although we are buying the product in rupees, but the distributor, right, distributor is importing the product in dollar. So dollar का जो rate है, that is our जो foreign exchange currency exchange rate है, उसके accordingly price will be determined. That's why जब भी आपकी our if Indian currency, Indian rupee will depreciate, the imported product will keep on rising. जो price of imported product है, that will keep on rising if Indian rupee will depreciate. If Indian rupee appreciate, then definitely price of import will keep on decreasing, right? So how it is determined? Balance of payment, right? Balance of payment means income, जैसे हमारा बैलेंस शीट में होती है, राइट? जैसे हमारा इंडिविजुअल बैलेंस शीट में क्या होता है? Income and expenditure, debit, income, expenditure, credit, right? Sorry, debit, that is your expenditure, credit, that is your income, right? So accordingly you have to, for your balance sheet, you have to balance your left hand side and right hand side, assets and liability, then expense and your income. Similarly for a country also, because here we are studying the country as a economy, as a business counterpart. So there also we need to balance between the income and the expenditure. Incomes are maybe from any investment, foreign exchange, so production, consumption, it will determine the income, right? And expenditure क्या होगा? What are the एक कंट्री में क्या एक्सपेंडिचर होता है? गवर्नमेंट का जो एक्सपेंडिचर हो गया, द इंपोर्ट में भी हम पे करते हैं, राइट? सो दिस विल बी योर एक्सपेंडिचर. सो इनकम एंड एक्सपेंडिचर नीड टू बी बैलेंस्ड. अगर इनकम इज मोर देन द एक्सपेंडिचर ऑफ इकोनॉमी, then that means a deficit balance of payment. If the expenditure is if the income is more, then there is a surplus balance of payment, right? So macroeconomics study the country as a economy, and it will study the economy as a business counterpart. जैसे एक प्रोड्यूसर और एक कंपनी का हम इनकम एक्सपेंडिचर डिस्कस करते हैं, so in macroeconomic will study a country or an economy from a business perspective. So these are some different. Yes, I'm taking the attendance.
Okay,
मुझे
ma'am.
दिख गया. Yes. No, I will not eat your time. I know. एक 5 मिनट 10 मिनट भी बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट हो जाती है. ओके, अभिषेक तनवार, फटाफट रिप्लाई करना. जितना टाइम आप लोग रिप्लाई करने में लगाओगे उतना मुझे टाइम लग जाएगा. अभिषेक. ओके, अक्षित.
प्रेजेंट मैम.
अमन गर्ग.
Present, ma'am.
अनिरुद्ध. अंश अरोड़ा. अंश Aroda is not there. Okay. Arman is also. Arman, you are there. Please reply. Arman Dulat. Otherwise, you can also raise your hand, but you have to respond. Ayush Agarwal. Am I audible?
Present, ma'am. Ayush Agarwal, present, ma'am.
Ayush Agarwal. Arman
Yes, ma'am.
Dulat, you are shown present, but you have to reply. Yes, Arman.
Yes,
Bharat.
ma'am.
Yes,
My
yes,
mic was
Arman.
not working.
All right,
Present,
no,
ma'am.
you can raise your hand. There is a hand raise option. Bharat is also
Present, ma'am.
present. Okay, Bharat. Chaitanya is not there. Dev
Present.
Kohli. Okay, Dev. Devyansh Goyal. Devyansh is not present. Thriti.
Ma'am, I am present.
Kौन?
Devyansh.
Oh yes, Devyansh. Devyansh is present. यस, अच्छा है ना कि एब्सेंट बोल दो तो ही जवाब आती है. यस देव्यांश, आई सॉ यू, रेज योर हैंड. गुड. धृति.
Present, ma'am.
यस धृति. ओके. ध्रुव अग्रवाल.
Present, ma'am.
ओके ध्रुव. ध्रुव ग्रोवर. ध्रुव ग्रोवर is not present. Disha. Disha.
Present, ma'am.
Okay Disha. Dolce. Dolce Berry. Okay
Present,
Dolce.
ma'am.
All right. Drishya.
Present, ma'am.
Harsh Chopra. Harsh.
Present, ma'am.
Okay Harsh. Harsh Pathak is not present. दिख तो रहे थे. हाँ. Harsh Pathak. Yes, yes Harsh. I have marked you present. Harsh Pathak. Yes. Harshita Ghai. Harshita Ghai.
Present, ma'am.
All right Harshita. Himanshu Chaudhary.
Present, ma'am.
Yes Himanshu. Himanshu Sharma.
Present, ma'am.
Okay Himanshu. Ikra.
Present, ma'am.
Okay. Khushbu.
Present, ma'am.
खुशी जैन. खुशी जैन. एक मिनट देखने दो मुझे. खुशी जैन. यस 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 खुशी. कुणाल सारदना. कुणाल.
Present, ma'am.
ओके कुणाल. कुशांग भाटिया is not present. लक्षय अग्रवाल is also not present. मोहक. मोहक अरोड़ा.
Present, ma'am.
यस मोहक. मुस्कान सिंघल. मुस्कान सिंघल. मुस्कान सिंघल प्लीज रिप्लाई और रेज योर हैंड. प्रणब सोंधी. सॉरी मैं हमेशा सोंधी बोलती हूँ. एक और स्टूडेंट है सोंधी लिखते हैं. ओके प्रणब सोधी. ओके प्रणब सोधी. ओके. प्रिक्सी.
Present, ma'am.
ऑल राइट प्रिक्सी. राधिका गोयल.
Present, ma'am.
राघव घाई. राघव.
Present, ma'am. Present, ma'am.
ओके राघव. रेवा. रेवा हंडा. ऑल राइट रेवा. रिदम.
Present,
रिदम
ma'am.
सलूजा. ओके रिदम. रिशान. रिशान
Present, ma'am.
मुखियाजा. ऑल राइट रिशान. रोनित कुमार.
Present, ma'am.
ओके रोनित. साधिका जैन.
Present, ma'am.
ऑल राइट साधिका. सक्षम. सक्षम गर्ग.
Present, ma'am.
ओके सक्षम. संकेत.
Present, ma'am.
सार्थक. सार्थक मजिठिया.
Ma'am, Sanket.
Present, ma'am.
Present.
Yes, yes, Sanket, you are marked present.
All right,
Sarthak Majitia is also present. Sarthak Burma. Sarthak Burma. All right, Sarthak
Present, ma'am.
Burma. All right. Sejal Rajpal. Sejal.
Present, ma'am.
Okay, Sejal. Shelly.
Present, ma'am.
Okay, Shelly. Shivam Kawatra.
Present, ma'am.
Okay, Shivam. Slok Goyal. Slok Goyal. Sweta Goyal.
Present, ma'am.
Simran.
Present, ma'am.
Tanmay Katiyal.
Present, ma'am.
All right, Tanmay. Tanmay Sharma.
Present, ma'am.
Okay, Tanmay. Tanvi Malhotra.
Present, ma'am.
तुषार कक्कर. तुषार नहीं है. उद्देश्य.
Present, ma'am.
ओके उद्देश्य. विदित जैन.
Present, ma'am.
यश मित्तल नहीं है. युकेश बत्रा. युकेश.
Present, ma'am.
यस यस युकेश. युक्ता कथुरिया.
Present, ma'am.
इशिका गुलाटी.
Present, ma'am.
अनन्या अवस्थी. अनन्या
Present, ma'am.
अवस्थी.
Present,
यस
ma'am.
अनन्या. ओके अनन्या. हर्ष पंडित. हर्ष. हर्ष
Present,
पंडित.
ma'am.
यस. ऋषभ नागपाल. ऋषभ इज नॉट देयर. ओके अभी मुझे हर्ष आपको मिल गया आईडी पासवर्ड. Harsh
Yes,
Pandit?
ma'am.
All right.
Yes, ma'am.
Now I just need to take the Rishabh Nagpal and Divyansh. Muskan Harija is not here,
मैम
right?
मुझे भी नहीं मिला.
क्या नाम है
मैम
आपका?
मुझे भी नहीं मिला।
नाम
आयुष
मुझसे
अग्रवाल मैम.
आयुष अग्रवाल आपने मुझे आज तक बोला ही नहीं.
मैम मैंने कल ही चेक किया.
लेकिन आपने अगर नहीं है तो आपने
जी.
ज्वाइन कैसे किया?
ERP आईडी.
ERP ID and Microsoft Team ID is different thing. Okay.
यस मैम.
मैं एकदम साफ साफ बोलती हूँ. Please listen carefully everyone. ERP
Okay.
ID is your, keep yourself mute. बहुत डिस्टर्बेंस हो रही है. ERP ID is your kind of roll number. ओके उसमें सिर्फ आपका रहेगा 020 BBA. ओके एंड योर नंबर 005 और 050, राइट? दैट इज योर ERP ID. ERP ID is also ID for your bvmrcampus.com, and bvmrcampus.com is your app for viewing all your attendance, marks, notices, etc. जब हम बात करते हैं ERP, that is your that 020 BBA 050, right? This kind of जब हम बोलते हैं that is your ERP ID. Okay, and it is required only for your attendance marks, right? So you will be addressed through your ERP ID. जब आपका marks निकलेगा, it will be aligned to your ERP ID. For example, there are two person named Tushar Sharma, right? How will I identify? So I will identify from their ERP ID, right? Leave it. अभी जो आपको मिला है पासवर्ड, पासवर्ड है पासवर्ड PASSOWORD. पासवर्ड से आप लॉगिन करो ERP ID, राइट? आपका SMS आया है ERP ID का. Then log in and you can change your password. Similarly, you can also update your profile. यहाँ पे नाम वगैरह सब गलत लिखा हुआ है. You can upload rectify it yourself. Most probably आज या मंडे को ट्रेनिंग होगी how to update your profile. Okay, Chanchal ma'am will take that training session. Then comes your Microsoft Team. Microsoft Team is we are using Microsoft Team only for taking class. Taking class may be subject class or orientation, जैसे हमारा orientation हुआ था. And for this Microsoft Team classes, we need some login ID and password. That login is your नीचे पीछे का जो आपका ये है क्या बोलते हैं उसको डोमेन नेम है. It will be vp.edu.in, right? For example, dave.kohli bba 2020@bvp.edu.in. that is your ID for Microsoft Team. अभी भी किसी को डाउट है? हाँ ना कुछ भी? Okay, so I'm leaving. Please take a short break of 5 minutes. In fact,